Guys, Tyson here from Relaxed Running. Good to have you here. Today, I wanted to take a couple of minutes just to look at some of the transformational elements that you can see take place in an athlete who implements some of the skills and tactics that we go through with our technique analysis. Now, if you're unaware, recently we launched our online technique analysis for the first 20 athletes. You're getting that for $19.95 Aussie dollars per month. So if you're interested, click the link in the description below to take advantage of that. But what I wanted to do was have a look at the analysis that we did with an athlete called Mark last week. So Mark reached out, submitted some footage. In the meantime, I'd started coaching Mark on a one-on-one basis. He's been out of the sport now for quite a lot of years, and he just wants to build up consistency in both training, not looking at any particular races yet, but one thing he wanted to do was develop a more efficient running technique. So what's important to mention before we even get into this is the world of running, for whatever reason, completely forgets about how important efficient technique is. Swimming, cyclists, tennis players, golfers, they all know it. If you want to do well, if you want to perform well, you have to have a smooth technique. For whatever reason, distance runners have failed to recognize this, or they're at least not consciously focusing on it. Triathletes have a far better understanding, I would say. Triathletes, swim, bike, run, they probably know from the biking and from the swimming how important the technical element is. So often they're the athletes who reach out asking for a little more guidance. But with all of that said, what we're trying to do with the technique analysis is figure out how to develop a more efficient style. But the question is, how do you actually develop a more efficient running style? There's a number of ways. First of all, you want to figure out where points of tension are in the body. Tension expresses itself in different ways: the shoulders, the neck, the jaw, the hands, the forearms, sometimes through the hips, sometimes through the torso. And depending on you as an athlete and depending on how you hold that tension, it can radically impact not only the actual movements that you take when you're running, but the impact on your energy levels throughout a training session and a racing level. When you think about running, obviously the training is important, but for whatever reason, we've forgotten how important the foundation of what we build that running upon is. That's the technique work. If you can be more efficient with the movement and get through your sessions and races with a lower amount of energy, then naturally your ability to run faster and to feel better as you run faster is really magnified. So if you want to watch the full video, make sure you go back and watch the full video with Mark. But essentially, I'll tell you a number of the things that we went through with him to give you a bit of an overview. And then I want to show you the first bit of footage that he sent back to me with the application of some of the skills that we've gone through together. Now, when Mark submitted the footage to an untrained eye, he might look as though he was incredibly smooth. I would say to a degree, he was pretty smooth. Like, he looked as though he moved across the ground well. He's got some good bounce in his step. I can't remember. I think he said he's 59. I need to double check that. So sorry if I've added a few years to you there, Mark. But he moved across the ground well. But one thing I noticed in his original footage, he was relatively upright. He was holding some tension through his shoulder blades, which not only impacts arm swing, also impacts oxygen uptake. So I gave him a couple of cues and I said, hey, go home, work on this. It's an awareness factor and then it's a release of the tension when you notice it. Have a look at this footage that he sent back to me after just a 3-minute instruction. More than this being incredibly different, obviously you can see the old footage on the top, the new footage on the bottom. The tension through his shoulder blades has disappeared. It's released some of the tension that he's holding through his upper body. And as a result, even that forward carrying momentum you can see through his upper body, he's on a better angle. He's carrying his weight more effectively throughout each and every stance, or through each and every step. Now, the beauty here is not only can we see this, we can see it looks better. He looks smoother. He looks as though he's moving across the ground better. The win for Mark is that he said he immediately notices a greater sense of flow. So regardless of what it is that you're trying to improve when it comes to your running performance, whether it's the times that you're trying to run, whether it's how you look, or whether it's actually how you feel, there's some significant benefits that take place in actually having a focus on your running technique. So don't underestimate the impact that feeling good when you run has on your enjoyment and your consistency of running. If you would like some assistance, make the most of this opportunity that we have with the limited time offer, $19.95 Aussie dollars per month for the first 20 subscribers to the online analysis. You can hit that link in the description below. Not only will I offer some real personalized and practical tips for you to improve your running efficiency, but I'll also be that person in your corner that is there to constantly remind you of the importance of it. So if sometimes accountability is the factor that lets you down, I'll be there to help you out. So If you're keen to complement the training that you're doing, jump on board, hit the link. You and I will work together. But for now, happy training, and I'll see you all again here next week.